Hi everyone, I'm Mike, and today we're going to be talking about anxiety, which is a mental health issue that affects millions of people around the world. So, first of all, what is anxiety? So, anxiety is a mental health disorder which comes with feelings of fear, worry, or nervousness that completely take over the body. And I know that we have all sometimes felt some sort of anxiety at some point in our lives, whether it comes to taking a big exam or speaking in front of a crowd of people. Unfortunately, people with anxiety feel this way on a constant basis, and it can make simple everyday activities feel impossible to do. In severe cases, a person might feel intense fear in common situations, avoid social encounters, or even refuse to leave their home because the anxiety is just too much and they're unable to deal with it. Some common signs and symptoms that are caused by anxiety are feelings of worry or fear that don't seem to go away, an increase in heart rate, sweating, or feeling shaky, having a hard time concentrating, restlessness and having trouble sitting still, trouble sleeping, muscle tension, especially in the area of the neck and shoulders, which can get very tense, and gastrointestinal problems like diarrhea, which is very common. And even though these are some common symptoms, everyone's experience with anxiety is different, and the same symptoms for one person may not be the same for the other person. And so, what exactly causes anxiety? So, anxiety can be caused by stressful life events, which things like job pressure, struggles with relationships, or major life changes like moving cities or losing a loved family member can trigger anxiety. Also, past experiences of trauma or abuse are also known to cause anxiety. Even chemical deficits or imbalance of serotonin and dopamine can also contribute to feelings of anxiety. And also, health issues like heart disease or substances like using caffeine or alcohol can also contribute to these symptoms. Anxiety doesn't just affect adults, but it's also very common in children, and it can start as early as 11 years old. And the most common type of anxiety at this age is separation anxiety. And for kids that are dealing with anxiety, it can really make school, navigating friendships, and just living family life very difficult. They might struggle to focus in class. They might experience social isolation because they just have trouble coming up and making new friends, or they might just act out because they don't know how to manage their feelings. This is why it's very important to focus on children at a young age and making sure that these feelings of anxiety do not lead into adulthood, because if nothing is done, then this can be very problematic once they reach that age. For adults, 18% of US adults, which is equivalent to 40 million people, suffer from anxiety. And this can affect many aspects of their life, as it can come in conflict with work performance, it can damage relationships with family members or even loved ones. It can even lead to bigger problems like depression or substance abuse. And if it's left untreated, it can just be really hard to enjoy the simple things in life. That's why it's very important to address it early on. And the good news is that there are very effective ways to manage it. So one of the most effective ways to battle through the symptoms of anxiety is through exercise, as exercise not only comes with physical benefits, but it also has many mental benefits. First of all, exercise stimulates the production of endorphins, which are the natural feel-good chemicals in the brain that boost your mood and help reduce the feelings of anxiety. Exercise also helps reduce muscle tension and can be a great way to relax after a very stressful day. Regular exercise can also improve the quality of your sleep, as it's very damaged when dealing with anxiety. Activities like yoga or walking, which are mindfulness activities that really focus on breathing, also allow you to move your attention to the present moment. This can help you to avoid overthinking and worrying about the future, as your focus is strictly in the present moment. Exercise can also help you boost your confidence, because as you get stronger and healthier, you might start to feel more confident in yourself, which is really helpful for reducing the symptoms that come with this mental health disorder. So why did I choose to talk about anxiety for this project? Well, I chose this topic because I feel like anxiety is a problem that is often very overlooked in society. I think that even strongly, very strongly for kids, that when they suffer through this issue, a lot of the people around them that are not informed about it, they just say, get over it, you don't need to feel this way, just relax. But it's really not as easy as that. It's a very serious issue that affects thousands and thousands of kids all around the world, and it needs to be addressed. I think that nowadays we're making progress in speaking out about this issue. A lot of athletes are now speaking out and telling stories about their own experiences with anxiety or other mental health disorders. And kids that look up to them, they're able to relate to the best Olympic gold medalists, the best players in the sport, and they're actually able to see that they're also human. They also go through the same struggles they might be going through, and it's really easy for kids to relate to them and make them feel that they're not alone, that they can get help if they need it. There's these therapies, there's exercise, there's all these different methods and strategies, like I talked about in the video, that are very helpful, and by doing them, they can completely change the life of a kid. I also say this from personal experience because as a kid, I also suffered with the symptoms from anxiety. Before games, I would always feel a knot in my stomach and overthink just about the results, about how I'd perform, because I felt like people around me always expected me to perform at a certain level, to win certain number of games, and I always really struggle with this. But luckily, I've heard people speaking out on the subject, and I also found my own strategies that work for me before games to get in the right mindset and completely forget about overthinking and just focus on the now and be able to flow during the game.